There's no problem too big or small, no issue too hot or cold, and no subject these gentlemen won't talk about. Let's head into the lab to see what they're working to figure out today.
Nice.
Yeah, right. Were these supposed to be soda or water?
Oh, so shit, sorry. It looks so good. You can tell them make it water, sorry.
We can start now.
So we usually kick things off, and I'll make fun of Centauri or say something kind of funny.
All right.
And we'll just have a nice conversation. No, it's always funny.
Thank you.
Like put my phone on silent.
Yes, that is it.
Definitely, we want to be able to project all the way back, so.
Right.
I was gonna say, talk to them, forget the mic.
You got
Yes.
All right,
Talk past them.
I got you.
Yes.
it. Where's our cowbell? Let's get that fired up, man. All right, that's pretty good. Think more like Blue Oyster Cult, Don't Fear the Reaper.
I gotta hear that cowbell.
Yeah. Yes.
Love it.
A little faster. All right, so somewhere in the middle. Okay.
We'll allow it.
All right. Yeah. Fair enough. Well, welcome everybody. I'm glad everybody could make it. Thanks to John from O.H.S.O. I know that he'll be here in a minute for having us tonight. And certainly thanks to Jeff for joining us and sharing his wisdom about making booze tonight. Woo-hoo. So should be a lot of fun. And we got the cowbell ready. We have an ukulele, but Jeff was not willing to play it, so
Jeff.
It belongs to no one now.
Yeah, so now it's just sitting there kind of sad. But anyway, so we will get started. Let's get into it and get down to it. Welcome to Figure It Out. My name is George Grombacher. Joining me as always is Centauri Minor.
Hello, folks.
Helping us move from awareness to action today is Mr. Jeff Smith. Welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
So Centauri, if you had to have one drink, only one, for the rest of your life, what would it be?
That's a good question.
Thank you. Thank you.
For once, it's a good question. I think I would do a dirty gin martini.
A dirty gin martini. I was sort of banking on you saying whiskey, and I was going to be like, that's a dick thing to say because they don't make whiskey here.
But they do make gin.
Yep, but you guys do make gin.
We sure do.
What do you think about that answer, dirty gin martini?
I wouldn't go dirty. I'd just go straight up gin.
That's aggressive.
Oh, yeah. But my gin, it would be less aggressive.
Got it. Okay.
Smooth.
Smooth,
All right.
floral, citrusy.
Fair enough. So Jeff, it seems to me, and I was asking Centauri to verify this, and he absolutely did, that O.H.S.O was one of the first organizations some time ago to actually get a license for a distillery in Arizona.
That's true. And they gave us a bigger license, kind of like Jack Daniel's like size production, and we declined it and took the smaller Series 17, I believe is the number, to be like one of the first craft distillers here in Arizona.
Okay. So why did you opt for that? Just because you have no designs on making 50,000 gallons of whiskey a year?
He just wanted to keep it small, keep it real, keep it local. The craft scene is where everything's at. We don't want to hear to mass produce. We're always trying to bring the community into O.H.S.O and be one-on-one with them.
Nice. Okay. So when I think about a distiller, I think that there's a lot of things that probably go into being a good one. I think that you're probably part chef, you're part baker, probably part brewer. What am I totally right or totally wrong or kind of halfway
You're
there?
absolutely right. There's a lot of hats that we wear. To add to that list, you have to be part chemist, a welder, a carpenter, an electrician, a guy that's the best boy for the job.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
How does one become a distiller? Like, what made you think this is exactly what I want to do with my life?
I got very lucky, very, very lucky. Back in high school, I always tell this story when I do the tours and stuff. My dad caught me stealing his beer, and he was a home brewer, so he decided to teach me how to make it. After college, I went into the film industry and was working on movie sets in LA. And when I wasn't working on sets, I was homebrewing. So I got an opportunity to come out here to O.H.S.O and start brewing with them when we were just one location in Arcadia. And so after that, John decided to open up a distillery, asked if I wanted to do that. So my path got chosen for me in a way that I was a brewer and then a home brewer, then a brewer, and then became a distiller just by simply asking me.
Wow.
So I just schooled and learned it.
So I'm curious, is distiller do you get a certificate for that? How does someone officially become a distiller?
There are, like in the brew science, you can get like a master's brewers and a master distillers. Like people go to Scotland and take courses there where they'll hand out an award or a certificate, but you don't necessarily need one. You just need the experience and the luck, almost.
Yes.
All right, so I want to fill in the gaps of the story. So Dad catches you stealing his beer,
Yeah.
and instead of like taking you out back behind the woodshed, he's like, "Son, come into the garage. You're gonna help me make it."
Oh yeah. Well, I was grounded for a long time.
Okay. I just
I
want to
did get in
connect all the
trouble.
dots. He's like, "You seem pretty persistent, and you seem to like the beer. You're not going to stop doing this. Therefore, you will help in the process."
Yes, and learn the science behind it.
Okay, got it. All right, so you had a good strong base.
Strong base, yeah,
Excellent.
and a little buzz.
Base and a little buzz. So let's just say, theoretically, hypothetically, Centauri finds himself in prison at some point. How would he go about making
Are you going to ask
distilling?
about how to make moonshine in prison?
Well, yeah, I'm
Fair
just
enough.
curious about how to get started in the distillery process. And as per usual, I'd like to throw you as much under the bus as I possibly can.
That's
So-
amazing.
Ketchup packets.
What?
That's what I hear how it's made, is a ketchup package. They let it ferment, and then you can get a little buzz because there's alcohol in it. You know, anything where starch can be converted into sugar or sugars can be fermented by yeast will produce alcohol and CO2. So you're not going to distill anything unless you have that kind of pull and enough cigarettes. But you can at least create something, that'll get you a buzz.
The more you know. The more you know.
I'm shocked you're not taking notes on this.
Frantically, right now.
Okay, good. All right, so vodka has been around since, from my research, around 1400 AD. So for a real long time, and it's kind of disputed as to whether or not it's the Russians or the Poles that invented it, and they figured out that they would make wine, and then the extreme cold temperatures over the winter made it even better. So is that like the first kind of booze, and is that the cornerstone?
I think so, because we all know that wine was made, and then they figured out how to make beer. They didn't know how it was being made. They thought it was the gods. But once they figured out if I boil,
It's not.
it might be. It might be that stick that had yeast all over it that they used to stir. But once they figure out distillation, yes, vodka was probably one of the oldest, as well as gin. It being made from whatever. The misconception of vodka is that it has to be made from potatoes. That is not true. What makes it vodka is that it's distilled up to high proof, 95% alcohol. That's the highest you can get it, so that it's clean, it's odorless, tasteless. It's a neutral spirit. So you're not going to have like the conjure flavors that you get in like a whiskey or flavored vodkas or gins and stuff like that.
Okay, so neutral spirit means it really doesn't have a distinct taste.
Right.
Do you feel that vodka, in your mind, is vodka the most versatile?
It is. It's the number one spirit in cellar in the world. I chart everything that goes in and out with on the spreadsheets, and vodka sales is up here and everything else is down here.
Wow.
Like vodka, everyone drinks vodka.
I feel like there was a minute when Bud Light was America's drink, but that's been far surpassed by vodka.
No, that's true.
That's just the way that I feel.
That and
That's
craft beer.
absolutely subjective. So, okay. So, you mentioned that it goes up to a certain alcohol content proof. Why is it that the majority of vodka is 80 proof or 40%-ish?
Because of the classification, plus tradition with vodka, it's generally always 80 proof because that's the lowest you can take it down. The minute you drop it below 80 proof, the government no longer says or tells you that you can call it vodka. The reason why our spirits, flavored vodkas are at like 35%, 70 proof, and we can call it vodka, but when I report to the government, I call it a specialty cordial. It's all about what the classification is and how to declare it as so that it's not misleading.
You just brought up something I had never thought about this. What are the legalities and like how much are you talking and reporting to the government about alcohol consumption?
How long's this podcast?
Wow.
I mean, the book's this big. We are heavily regulated.
The fucking man.
Yes, the fucking man, and that's why I'm gray over here. That's the federal government. This is the state government. This is my owner.
Thanks, Obama.
Actually, no. It is very controlled and regulated by the federal government because they want their tax money. Beer they don't really care about. I'm not really sure how strict they are with wine, but with liquor, it had the highest amount of excise tax on it. So, I mean, it won World War One, before Prohibition. So if they can make a lot of money, every drop has to be accounted for. Everything is regulated. Everything has to be approved by them, whether it's your label and what you say on the label, and then the formula, how it's formulated. I'm slowly becoming a glorified lawyer just by reading all the, the manuals and stuff. So it's been an interesting 2 years just to kind of be compliant with the federal government, and I think we are. So if they walk through the front...
You hope you are.
I hope I am. Again, that's why I'm gray. If they walked through in this room and did an audit, I think I would pass,
Nice.
So.
Excellent. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about, or at least I'd like to. I'm going to ask you questions about the vodka and the gin and the rum that you make, but fundamentally, what is it that makes a liquor quality?
I think it's more attention. A lot of it has to do with, starts with fermentation. If you have a bad fermentation, you're going to get bad qualities out of that, and no amount of times you distill it will it come out, But for like a vodka, so let's say we had a great fermentation, and in this case, we purchase our alcohol that's made from sugarcane, and so all the hard work has been done already. So I'm kind of like cut out the middleman, and but we carbon filter it, the vodka, so the carbon soaks up the longer chain alcohols, so that it takes away that bite, that solvent kind of flavor, or harshness, because it absorbs it, and the smoother alcohol chains pass through the carbon, and therefore you get a cleaner product. My volume that we do is a lot smaller than, say, like New Amsterdam, or which is a great vodka, or like Grey Goose. I don't think they're just trying to churn a product sometimes, maybe not them as per se, but like a smaller, not so good vodka, plastic vodka, I call it vodka that comes in a plastic bottle.
Like
Pop-Off, they're just gonna, try to turn the product and get the production going.
So the big difference between Grey Goose and Pop-Off is how it's...
Love.
Well,
Love. Fermentation, I don't, there's... What makes a bad vodka? I don't know. Maybe it's with a source of what they're using. Maybe it is potatoes. Maybe it is something else like sorghum or something that isn't that great. Of a product to begin with.
Gotcha.
It's like if you sing to your plants, they have a better chance of being healthy and vibrant. And
Right.
It's the love that goes into Grey Goose versus Dark Eyes, which is the kind of vodka that Centauri and I drank in Indiana during college.
That is 100% a real brand.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible vodka.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible. All right, so you guys had a world of choices to decide on, but you decided on vodka, gin, and rum. How come?
Well, we knew we wanted to do a vodka because, again, that's the world's
America's drink.
My coworker Greg, the other distiller, and I are huge gin fans, and we all had the same story. People that don't like gin, we either stole it from our dad and got wasted and didn't feel good the next day, or we drank too much of it in college. We just don't like the juniper flavor of that pine sol. So all these new contemporary gins are coming out, and all the juniper's gone. It's hit with like 24 flavors, and it's not gin. It's just called gin because it has juniper in it, but they didn't put any juniper like the amount you normally do. So I wanted to make it easy.
So you're saying that contemporary gins are essentially bullshit because it's not really gin.
There's some good ones out there, but it's not the traditional flavor.
So the answer is yes, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those fucks.
We wanted to make a citrusy gin, a gin for non-gin lovers. We want to, we make it less bitter. Back off the juniper, yes, but it's still there. I told Greg we need to make it simple. Let's quit throwing like 24 flavors at it. Let's just break it down to something we like, maybe 5 flavors, and bring up the citrus, and just make a traditional gin that's not going to offend you. And I think we did that.
Do you think gin's the classiest alcohol? Because I do.
I mean, I feel sexy when I drink it.
Well,
So
It's a good spirit.
There you go.
wow.
Yeah. We decided on rum because John used to work in the Caribbean, and rum is a traditional spirit, clear spirit, and it's fun to make. I like rum, and especially to come out with like a spice rum here in the next couple of years will be pretty interesting. So it's just one of those things. You have gin, vodka, and rum. It's the trifecta.
Excellent. All right, so you make it out of sugarcane, or at least the vodka and the gin. Why sugarcane?
I think it's a little bit more expensive than corn, but I feel like it's a cleaner product. Everything in our world is based on sugar and carbon, of course, but it's a little bit higher quality, and I feel that it's a smoother product after fermentation, after distillation. It comes out semi-sweet, so it's always naturally sweet, whereas other sources can have their imperfections.
So we had quite a few episodes ago, we had a mixologist on who mixes at the Gladly. His name's Curtis, and we asked him about drinks that people typically order that kind of irks them. I'm curious, what common things do you see when people buy alcohol that kind of bother you? What do you wish people knew about when they're picking their alcohol to buy?
I only drink Tito's because it's gluten-free.
Gotcha.
All spirits are gluten-free, even if it's made from wheat, straight wheat. Gluten has so distillation is based on boiling points. Everything has a boiling point. Ethanol has a boiling point at 78 degrees Celsius, whatever the hell that means. But gluten boils at a higher boiling point. So
Centauri has a boiling point.
yes,
That's true.
yeah, about 170.
Yeah, about right.
All right. So in the process of distillation, everything that has a higher boiling point than ethanol stays behind. So, and gluten's one of those things. So I think I saw gluten-free shampoo the other day. I confused the hell out of me.
No.
That makes zero sense.
Yeah, it was
It
vegan.
makes sense.
It was vegan too.
Given
That I
that,
kind of
yeah.
get, but
Right.
gluten-free shampoo. I mean, I don't have any hair, so I'm not in the shampoo aisle very often. So that still blew my mind. But yeah, that's one thing that irks me.
Where do you shop at, bro?
CVS.
All right, so sugarcane it is, and that certainly makes sense to me. And what is the rum made out of, and how and why is that different?
Well, our rum is made from sugarcane,
Oh, it is.
and
Shitty research, George.
but I also have rum that we did ferment here, made from molasses, and that's more of a traditional way of making rum, is from molasses. And so people go like, wait, you have vodka from sugarcane, but you have rum from sugarcane. What, isn't that just rum? Like, well, rum is not taken up to that 190 proof, so there's still heads and tails flavors that we like in that process that give us flavors. So it's never becomes neutral, and that's how we can make vodka from sugarcane and not call it rum.
Got it. Okay. So I watched some YouTube videos and read a little bit on the website that it's important to you guys. Forget gluten-free, forget whatever vegan. Things are organic and the flavors are natural.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about that. And is that only possible because you are small batch?
I wouldn't say it's just only possible because we're small batch, but because we are small batch, we can buy. I guess I'm contradicting myself. Yes, maybe so. We can buy orange peel, and the amount of orange peel we need to soak it in about 25 gallons of pure ethanol, and of course proof it down to about 50%, and then redistill it. So we have a tank where we have a basket that's kind of like a china cap or a sieve, where we can soak it and then strain out the liquid from the solids and then redistill. And then post distillation, we add, say for our orange, our grapefruit, our lemon, and our peach whiskey, we add the exact sugar and acids that you find in a real peach or you find in a real lemon. So if it's this percentage of sucrose, we add that, that you find in a real grapefruit. And that's what really gives it the essence of the flavor.
So when someone says organic, especially as it relates to alcohol, what does that mean?
I have no clue.
Got it. Fair enough.
Natural flavors.
It means
so
that they're probably dicks.
well, there's certain spirits out there that this is a ruby red grapefruit, and you taste it and you're like, yeah, that tastes like a ruby red grapefruit, but also tastes like cough syrup.
Right.
And we strive to get the real flavor. So for our jalapeno vodka, we chop up jalapenos and put it in the alcohol. And the fun part about that is, again, boiling points, capsaicin doesn't come through in the distillation. And so after distillation, I add jalapeno flakes, dried jalapeno flakes to it for about 15 minutes. And that's how I control the spice. And for my jalapeno vodka, we want it to be all flavor, then capsaicin, then burn. We don't want it spicy as hell. We want the flavor of the jalapeno versus all heat so that you can taste it.
Jalapeno, that's pretty unique. What other vodka flavors do you have?
We have rosemary. I don't think anyone's ever made a rosemary vodka. It's really interesting. Like on the nose, I smell it and I swear it's eucalyptus. But by itself, you gotta like rosemary. But I also add a little lemon peel to it, just because lemon pops rosemary. They work together.
Obviously.
We have a horseradish vodka, and that was a challenge by our owner because he grew up in Michigan and ate a lot of horseradish growing up, and he sought out like 3 or 4 different horseradish vodkas, and brought them back to us and said, I challenge you to do better than these. And we took the challenge, and
Wow.
I swear we exceeded that. Awesome Bloody Mary, oyster shooter all day.
I bet that's good.
Yeah.
Those Michigan horseradish vodkas are crap anyway. All right. How come the grapefruit is lesser in alcohol content?
Just because we wanted more flavor than like the bite of alcohol. Just we did test batch it at different alcohol percentages. We first started off lower, and it just was flat and just tasteless. We found that 70 proof was the balance that we wanted.
You talked about test batch. So for people listening and then people in the audience, how does someone become a guinea pig for testing your alcohol?
Just come on over and we'll find something for you.
Okay.
No,
Wow.
As far as all our guinea pigs, we find we seek out our bartenders, our servers. The common phrase is like, well, let's get a woman's opinion. And I solely trust their opinion more than just the guy that's sitting at the bar.
Fair enough.
There's so many comments just hanging out
Let it
there
go.
for that one.
Just let it go.
So many comments. Can we get that cowbell going again, sir?
Sure.
You're getting better at it.
I don't know.
I gotta have more cowbell.
Yeah. Hold on to it, like palm it, and just dun, 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 dun. Nope, palm it. Dun.
Nice.
Louder.
There you
Louder.
go.
Yeah.
Yes. A little more cowbell. There it is.
I actually have a t-shirt.
Excellent. Great job, sir. All right, so thank you. That's going to usher us into our lightning round. That's where I'm going to fire
a lightning round? That's awesome.
Yep. Stupid questions at you.
All right.
Not really quickly. I'm just going to ask them one after another. So, number one, why is drinking so fun?
Because you fall down.
Because you fall down. Number two, rum. Why do pirates love it?
Why is it gone?
Why is it gone? Number three, what will give me the best hangover?
Brandy.
What will give me the worst?
Brandy.
Number four, why does Irish whiskey make me want to fight?
Because it's traditional.
Number five, what do you think about vodka Red Bull?
Ooh, not a fan. Not a fan.
Number six, your perfect cocktail.
Old fashioned.
Number seven, what's it like to work with Summer?
Oh, she's just a breeze.
There it is.
I love that.
There it is. I saw Summer before we started recording, and I let her know I was going to talk about her behind her back. So it's totally fine. So thank you, Jeff, and we're going to open it up to some questions because I understand that some folks have some questions. So
Cowbell has questions. I know you
who would
do.
like to get started?
I actually have a couple of questions. It'll be more on the technical side.
Yes, sir.
So Jeff, I heard you talk about, you keyed off of gin and vodka and rum, but I know that you're bringing whiskey out because we heard it's coming out.
Yes.
So with your whiskey, are you doing your own mash? Are you doing your own mash? I heard you say that you're bringing in, like, for rum, it sounded like it's already brought in a pre-distilled mash.
Yes.
Double distilling it, or what are you doing for the whiskey?
So, gentlemen asked if if they're going to bring in their own mash for the whiskey.
Yes.
Answer right now is no.
Okay.
We do purchase it from our supplier, and but we're doing some unique things with it. So I got 2 barrels right now that are going to be my straight bourbons. So I used unaged whiskey that we purchased and put into New Oak. It's 75% corn, and then the rest is rye and barley. I have 4 barrels that we took and blended a 6-month-old accelerated bourbon and the unaged whiskey. So we did 80% of the White Lightning versus the 20% of the aged. Put it into New Oak. That's coming out in March, April-ish. It'll be a year. It'll be a year in March on my mom's birthday, actually March 9th. So in celebration,
Happy birthday,
of
Mom!
We're gonna dump that barrel, and then we'll continue with those 4 barrels. The other 4 barrels I have came from Heaven Hill and Four Roses that were given to the brewery, and they aged a stout in it. I can't remember which one, but for about a year, and now they dumped it wet, gave it to me. I put unaged whiskey in there, and so we're just gonna throw some spaghetti against the wall and see if it sticks.
Love it.
Okay, great. And then follow up to that, then, since you're doing that, are you gonna like double distill those, or are you just gonna run through once in a pot?
For the whiskey?
For the whiskey, is it gonna be a pot still? You just run it through once, or are you gonna run through a couple times with scripts and runs, or which way are you gonna go with that? Given the fact that you're not mashing it up.
So the question is, essentially, how are you actually going to go about making it?
Well, it's already distilled, so we're just maturing it.
It's already been through.
The mash has already been done. We purchased it as unaged whiskey.
So the question is, what's mash?
So, the question is, what is mash? So, the first process to make whiskey is you take your corn and your barley, and you're heating it up in water about 150 degrees, where starch is converted into sugar.
What's that in Celsius? I'm just fucking around.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to convert that right now in my head. Starch is converted into sugar. And so there's techniques. It's a little bit different from beer, but you're breaking down proteins and creating sugar so that you can heat it up and then cool it down and add yeast, ferment the mash, and then redistill. The mash is how during fermentation, how alcohol is produced.
Okay, nice.
Nice.
Celsius.
Celsius.
What other questions you got?
What else do we got out there?
I'll stay on the technical side. I don't want to take you too far into this, but I know you're making a good gin. And new to the world of distillation, my understanding of stills for gin, there's a kind of a unique type of thing that you put on top of a column or something else that puts those essential flavors in. If you could put that in layman's terms for somebody that doesn't really understand all that,
Yes.
I would like that.
So the question is, he's asking what a
stopped
gin
paying
basket is.
Gin basket.
A gin basket. So we don't do that, but
Okay.
through the process of distillation, traditional way of making gin is they would have some sort of basket that's in line with the vapor that's passing through the still. So the hot vapor would essentially take on and strip the flavors before it's recondensed. What we do here is we macerate, meaning we basically just soak our botanicals in a pot that has a basket in it. It's like a giant tea bag, and we just let it steep. Like this guy, a giant tea bag.
Dude, you just said masturbate and teabag.
I was going to let it go,
Macerate.
and then it happened. I thought we were going to ignore it, and then you just kept it
We
going.
said teabag too.
Maceration. I know, it sounds dirty. It just sits there for 24 hours, and we strip the flavors and then redistill. Yeah. But there's many different ways that to make gin. I saw one time on TV, like on how it's made to make gin. This when I was learning how to make gin. There's techniques out there where they do the vapor infusion, and then afterwards they add more berries to it, or that in the pot they would add their botanicals and then vapor infuse, and then afterwards add berries to it and then filter it out. So I guess as a distiller, you got to find your own technique, your own ways. And because the distillation process doesn't change, but just like brewing beer, like how to brew beer is always the same, but it's just you as the distiller, you as the brewer, to create your technique, and that's what we figured out here.
Go for
Guys,
it.
can you tell us what your business model is? I mean, you guys are distilling here, and I've been at bars throughout Phoenix where I've seen your brand. So you're making what kind of quantities, and who are you selling it to? I mean, what's the business model?
I mean, that's more of a John question. He just whips, brings out the whip and hits us. It's more or less like try to get when we first got into distribution. I know for vodka, we're never going to be able to compete. So it's either you make it a premium, high price vodka, or drop it down and make it cheap as hell, because you can't just compete with Smirnoff and Tito's. So he dropped the price low. Try to get into as many restaurants and bars as we can, but the motto is mostly just we're here, like we're local. We want to be a part of your place because, again, the idea of O.H.S.O was bring the community in. We want to be full frontal faced. That's how it started. Was you go to a brewery and behind glass there's tanks, and they're shiny and they look nice, but what the hell's going on over there? So when they started Arcadia, the idea was put the frickin' brewery right in the middle of the restaurant and make it not behind closed windows so that you can come up, you can smell the mash being brewed, you can talk to the brewers, you can come brew with us, that kind of thing. It was just make it community, make it local, and fun.
So you've said that vodka is number one, but can you rank the other spirits as far as consumption or sales?
For overall, just in class?
Or here, like what
For us?
What do you move out?
Right now, yeah, vodka is huge, but our number one seller is the grapefruit. Newest flavor that we came out was Meyer, and it's chasing its tail real quick. The Meyer Lemon. That's a very popular one. Our Dick whiskey, peach flavored whiskey, is high, and our jalapeno as well.
And then if you look at like gin and rum, where do they rank? Is it just vodka super high and then gin and rum not so much?
Gin stands for itself. Rum was highly popular in the summertime.
Right.
You have those types of drinks, but it's probably one of our slowest sellers. But if you like a good Caribbean rum, this is it. It's not your traditional American rum, but if you have been in the Caribbean and enjoy clear rum, you would like this one. It makes an awesome rum and Coke, in my opinion.
Excellent.
question. This goes back to your spirits and to your locally comment, giving it to the community. I love the idea of the rosemary lemon gin because I'm not a gin fan because of that juniper. Where do you source your rosemary, your lemon? Is it local?
Yes, we go through our wholesaler. That's Mount Hope that we use for the restaurants. So I believe that they get it within the state somewhere. You know, I can't comment too much further than that, but that's a local wholesaler that we buy from.
So that was where's the rosemary sourced from?
Yes.
Nice.
Do you find that I'm curious about so when you roll out horseradish, rosemary, do you get things from customers that read the menu and say what the fuck is this?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
They either go rosemary or they go horseradish. Yeah, horseradish is not fun to make, I tell you that much too. But they kind of question it like this, and then I say Bloody Mary, and they go, oh, okay.
Nice. Emily.
Do you have anything going on owning the restaurant and the food that goes with it, pairing foods with the different flavored vodkas?
The question from my absolutely beautiful wife is there intentionality between pairing the flavored boozes and the food on the menu?
Yes. We right now we haven't. We've done a few of our recipes with the food, as far as like cooking with it, with our beers. But we are opening a location in Gilbert, and so therefore we're gonna like revamp our menu. As far as like food pairing, like you would with wine for food, not so much just yet. But we're going to start using our flavors as an ingredient into our recipes for our menu. I've had this question a couple times, so I have been thinking about it. Obviously, there's with horseradish, you know, if we had like some sort of like prime rib, you know, we wanted to kind of like do that, but also market to like other steakhouses that, hey, you know, this is could be a thing. Rosemary obviously would go well if we had a lamb dish, but so some of our flavors don't really mesh well with our menu. But then again, make her mean cocktail.
Nice. Makes for a mean cocktail for sure. Yes, sir.
So I heard you talking about you have your own whiskey and it's peach flavored, right? So that's Dick. Where's the plain whiskey? Either Irish for Blaine or regular for Jane.
Ooh. Well, we do want to come out with Jane. And I like the idea of plain Jane, but you know, I think it needs to be a because it's going to be Dick and Jane. There has to be a flavor there. We've been dabbling with a few ideas. It's a hard one. I want it to be orange, blood orange, so it's like old fashioned in a bottle. But we already have orange vodka, and people might get confused. I don't know.
Could be confusing.
It might be a blackberry whiskey, so maybe somewhere on that line.
I'm just going to ask the question because I apparently am not tracking very well tonight.
Yeah, that's
what. What flavor is the Dick whiskey?
Peach.
The Dick whiskey is peach, so the Jane whiskey would be
orange. Blackberry. I don't know.
And why is a Dick whiskey peach?
Why not?
You're stupid not to, right?
That is true.
Any more dumb questions, George?
You're so good at them, though.
I do excel at dumb questions. You first.
I've tried the lemon.
Yes.
And I've done a vodka flight tonight.
Oh, nice.
They're all very good. What other flavors do you have in the works, if any?
So the question was, the lovely lady has tried the vodka flight, had the lemon, enjoyed everything. What else? What's coming next?
I hope that there isn't any more coming next.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
I hope that there isn't. We might convert our hashtag vodka into the Arcadia line because it is made from sugarcane, and maybe do the kind of vodka out of corn. But as far as flavors go, there has been some talk of like tea. In my research and development so far, I don't like it. My partner does, but that's because he's weird. But I don't know, unless John comes in and says like we have to do this, then that's gonna happen, you know.
And I was asking, I didn't know if you were planning on doing like
lighter flavors in the summer and heavier flavors in the winter. Since coffee's a heavy,
Right.
it's a heavier flavor.
Right. We've actually thought about kind of cutting some down into seasons, but right now we're just kind of cruising through it and making it work. So if there is a flavor that sparks our interest, we won't shy away from it. But right now, I think we've completed our series.
Yes.
If only there were a way to know what John would say about that.
John.
Oh shit.
I'm sorry, I was reading an article.
All right, John. Anyway, you, sir.
From start of the process until you put it in the bottle, how long does it take to make vodka, gin, or rum?
You gonna repeat that or?
Yeah.
Yep.
The question is, from soup to nuts, how long does it take to actually put it in the bottle to drink it?
It depends on what we're making. Vodka, I can come in at 6 o'clock in the morning and have 47 cases of 750 mils by the end of the day.
Wow.
Boom.
Same with but on average, the things that like the gin, most of the flavors that are the citrus flavors, it's about 4 days in time from start to finish.
What do you do with bad batches, if there are any?
I've only had one bad batch, and you just redistill.
Gotcha. All right.
Do you want to give me your address just in case?
Yeah, just send it my way.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's the best part of the process. We made a bad gin once, and it's just because of our cuts and how we distilled it. And I sat there for about 2 hours dumping bottles back into the still and fixed it. You know, you get a little bit of loss, but you know,
It's kind of like bad pizza. It's just a fictional thing.
right.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Who does the artwork for the labels?
Oh.
Models are pretty unique.
Oh yeah, so that's been a pretty cool collaboration for the Arcadia line. We had a server here that went to college for interior design, and so that was her main passion, was doing. So the artwork kind of came up with, you know, if you look at someone sketching out like a dress, you know, kind of a thing. And then the idea, like Greg's my other distiller, he's very artistic in himself, so he kind of worked with her. He wanted to, the idea with it was kind of to take like a Mexican lottery card and then reincorporate it with like the artsy fartsy of the fruit itself. So she did most of the Arcadia line. We have one of our brewers at Paradise Valley location studied graphic design, and that's what he did first. So she kind of, draws it up, gives it to Scott, and he does his digital fluff on it, and then we have our artwork for the our Cellarman series for our barrel-aged gin, vodka, and rum. The idea came up that we wanted it to be like an encyclopedia, so I came up with that concept, and then again threw it to Scott, and we told him what we want. So it's usually a collaboration between us, what John wants first, and then what we can physically possibly do.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yes.
Do your different locations have a different feel, different vibe?
Question is, do the different locations of O.H.S.O have a different feel or vibe?
Absolutely. They're all known. Everybody knows Arcadia is the original. In my opinion, it has the best patio. It's what started this whole thing. The great view, the atmosphere, the dogs, and
It's a pretty awesome spot.
It's what, you know, made it possible for the rest. Up here, we're a little bit more GQ in a sense. The different people that come here, and we're just now becoming known at like, oh, there's a distillery back here, you know, kind of a thing. And so that's, over the past 2 years, it's been a growth kind of thing. With PV, you know, you're just kids running around everywhere, and a million dogs and bags, and so they all have their flow and uniqueness. Yes.
And Gilbert?
Gilbert's gonna freaking blow up. We do the farmers market every weekend. Every single person that comes up to that booth is, when are you opening? That's the number one question. So, and they're all excited. So, and we're excited to be there too.
That's awesome. So to help, want to help close us out and to get some fodder for our listeners that might not be in Arizona, Do you ship? Do you send out alcohol to other states? If someone's listening from Indiana right now and they're like, I've heard this, I want to get some of the jalapeno vodka, what do they do?
Come visit in the wintertime.
Okay, that's good. That's a good plug.
Drive south.
Yeah, drop shipping to other states right now would kind of like, I think that violates some of our distribution clauses. And
gray hair thing you're talking about.
I think we have to go through a third party to do that. There is some talks about that right now. I actually got off the phone earlier today with somebody, so we might be going out there, but there's still like I got to read the book and learn. But but shipping directly to customers is illegal, and so we can't do that.
So the answer is come to Arizona.
Come to Arizona.
Nice.
In the winter.
In the winter.
Yes.
So does each location do their own distilling? How does that work?
So all of our locations, this is our distillery location, and then the other two right now are breweries. So they carry our product. I sell it to them because they are different licenses, but I sell it to the bar, not to be sold retail.
Just tried your gin for the first time?
Yes, sir.
Pretty damn good.
Thank you.
Nice.
How many botanicals did you put in there?
We have 5 botanicals.
5 botanicals?
Juniper, coriander seed, cinnamon, and lemon peel and orange peel.
I do need to write that down. It's really good.
Thank you. Award winning.
High praise for the gin. Other questions? Well, let's get a little more cowbell going. Where is it?
Palm it.
Done. A little faster. Louder. Faster and louder. Come on. Louder.
You see how old I am?
I love it.
Hand it to the guy next to you. All right.
Here, you can do it.
Done.
Maybe he's seen the show. more
No,
than I have.
palm it.
Well, there you go.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Palm it. Palm the cup.
He's not listening.
This is really hard.
Yeah.
This is awesome stuff right here. What have we forgotten to ask you? Is there really important knowledge that you wanted to share that you haven't been able to?
We're trying to come out with a hop liqueur. There's been a lot of experiments with hops used in gins and stuff like that. This will be just a straight up hop infused redistilled liqueur. So it'll be like 25%, 24% ABV sugar, so it'll be sweet. It's called Thesis, and the idea is that hops change from season to season, so we'll have different semesters of this product because of the change in hops. So we kind of try to balance out try not to get a consistent product, rather than let it show for itself. And so we'll have different semesters of each season for the hops.
Nice.
Excellent. Centauri, what have we forgotten to talk about?
Answered all my questions. Thanks for being here, Jeff.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Excellent. Well, I know that Centauri and I certainly endeavor to spend as much time as we possibly can in watering holes or bars. So this, to a degree, is like the fox watching the hen house, and it's been an absolute pleasure to be here at O.H.S.O. Thank you, John. And we've certainly talked about all the different locations that are here in Phoenix, and Gilbert, Arizona is the next one that's coming up. And I believe that if you are interested in actually coming to O.H.S.O. here in North Scottsdale and getting a tour, getting a bottle of one of the different boozes, I think it's around $28 or $30. 28 bucks. And you can do that by going online and signing up at O.H.S.O. Distillery. So you can go to O.H.S.O. and I'll have the actual URL in the notes of the show, but you'll be able to find it, O.H.S.O. and then the distillery, and then make a reservation. But if you love O.H.S.O., you can also make a reservation to actually brew the beer too. So that's something that we've done, and it's an absolute blast. So definitely encourage everybody to do that. So, Jeff, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
This has been an absolute pleasure. So if you like what you heard, please subscribe to the show. Tell a friend. Feel free to share us on social media. And as always, keep questioning, because the struggle is real. Some more cowbell to wrap it up, please.
Make it loud.
Come on. Yes, there it is.
Nice.
There it is.
Finally.
Well done.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, Jeff.
Awesome.